Hey everyone, it's Jamie Macon. So this month we are going to be talking about vendor events. So over the next 10 minutes or so, I want to share with you how I find vendor events and what to look for when you do find them. So the easiest place to find vendor shows and craft shows is Facebook groups for your local area. So search for things like around here it'd be CNY, Central New York, vendor events, 315-518-607, that's by area code, vendor shows. So any group like that, be sure to check out their about section for the group and see if they have any rules, anything like that, or if they just let anybody post. So request to get in there, and then you will find all sorts of things. Check with some groups of friends because you can always organize your own. Do you know a bunch of direct sales people? Do you know a bunch of crafters? You can always make your own vendor event. They are a lot of work. I do not recommend it for your very first vendor event. You can always also look at local event spaces and see if they have stuff coming up. So this is your fire departments, your VFWs, your YMCAs, your community centers, all places like that, because they probably already have a calendar full. Most vendor shows are not done last minute. So if you're looking for, so it's September, if you're looking for something in November, those places are going to already know what's on the calendar for November. So you can always call and check with them and they will have contact information. Make connections with other local vendors. So this way, when you're in those Facebook groups, you can tag each other. You can share show information because they might be in a different group than you are. They might have an inside track to somebody that's making their own vendor show. Quick note back on the Facebook groups too. When you're looking for groups, also include towns, cities, area codes that you are willing to travel to for the right show. Just because you're in the group doesn't mean that you are guaranteed a space or that you have to go. So get yourself into any that you're looking to potentially maybe go to if the price is right. Sometimes there are literally signs on the side of the road. Look at busy intersections when you're stopped at red lights. Look to read those little cardboard signs, snap a quick picture, and then contact the person afterwards, because a lot of times they are advertising on their boards that they are looking for vendors. Our local radio and TV stations do community calendars, and they will announce upcoming shows, upcoming craft shows, things like that. Or they might be on their website, so you can always listen in or do a little searching and find the information. Typically there is contact information with those as well. And then last but not least, and this is not a comprehensive list by any means, but it's what I could come up with right now. Also annual community events like apple festivals, shopping weekends, pumpkin festivals, fall festivals, flea markets, vendor show, or farmers markets. All of those are great places to look for vendor shows. So now you have this whole list and you're very excited and you're seeing vendor shows all over the place. What are you going to actually look for? This is not in any order because I just wrote it down as it came to my head. So it might be also a caveat with this is a lot of these I'm going to tell you what to look for, but you need to make the judgment call as to whether it's going to be worth it for you and if it's within your comfort level. So one of the first things to look for is this the first event of its kind or the first event by the organizer. So lots of times first events are not good. So I'm not telling you not to do them. I'm just telling you don't pay a lot for them. So if it's the very first time that this event has been, if they're calling it the first annual something, or Sharon is excited that she is going to be doing organizing her very first vendor show, but she wants $100 for it, I would not. I would not. But again, that's up to you. It depends on who the person is and if they have some good answers to the other bits. Because sometimes first events can be very successful if they are run by someone who has already done events before. You want to know what sorts of marketing are going to be done. Are they hoping for just word of mouth? Are they sticking a single sign out on the corner? Are they putting it on if it's a fire department, are they putting it on the board out front? All of those are great and all, but are they running ads? Are they doing a Facebook event? Are they making vendors share to their page? There's lots and lots of ways that events can be marketed, and the more ways, the better outcome you're going to have. How big of a space are you going to get, and how much is your vendor fee? Smaller local vendor shows, I don't like to go over 30 or 50 is really, I question them at 50. That's my area. Don't take my numbers, but just something to kind of go by. Because if you're getting a, one single 6-foot table for $50, that's kind of a lot too. But again, this is all just information to collect, and then you can make your final decision based on everything. It's important to know if a table is included in your space rental fee, because sometimes they will include them, but they'll charge for it. So see if it's optional, see if it's included, or if it's not included. If it is an annual event and the organizer has been doing it all along, they will know their expected attendance. That is usually one that's for larger events. Think like Pinners Conference or State Fair or things like that. They will know their expected attendance, so you can kind of guesstimate about like what percentage of people will attend, if you'll get your money back, if that sorts of things. It's important to know how many vendors will be there. If this is Black Friday weekend and there's going to be 5 vendors there, that is not going to be a good use of your time. So depending on a high number of vendors or a low number of vendors, that may impact your decision. You will definitely want to know if they're allowing duplicate vendors, meaning 2 Chalk Couture people, 2 LuLaRoe people, whatever. Because we cannot actually have multiple direct sales companies, can't have multiple designers. One person can be doing finished goods only, where they do not talk about chalk, and the other person is the chalk person. So that is something to ask. And most people who have done a vendor show before that have included direct sellers know that they cannot allow duplicates. We also want to know if there's going to be a mixture of handmade direct sales or straight up direct sales or handmade products, because you don't want to be the girl that shows up with all the chalk transfers and it's a crafter handmade stuff only. And also typically I've heard from customers when they walk in and there's a nothing but direct sales as far as the eye can see, they do tend to not really always love that. A lot of times will just leave. So it's a really good idea to have a mixture there. And then of course you really want to know the location and the dates, which sounds duh, but you will get that information, but you want to cross-check it to see if it's if the location is way out in East Bejesus, or if it's somebody's backyard, or if it's a really prominent location, which might bring you really great traffic. And as far as dates, is it scheduled during the town garage sales? Because that's not necessarily a bad thing if the location is in the middle of those town garage sales. Like things like that, there's so much to consider when looking at vendor shows. But all of those are things that I have learned by going to vendor shows and having them fail. So never be afraid to take a chance, especially if the price is right. It's just good to know these things so that you can actually make an informed decision and kind of set your expectations for what you can actually get back out of this. So if you have, I know a lot of you have done vendor shows before, either with Chalk Couture or with a past company. So feel free to drop comments below and let me know, and let everybody know what some of your tips are and some of the things that you look for when you look for a vendor show. All right, thanks guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask and I will get you some answers. All right, bye.